In this problem, we are provided with standard form, and we're going to reverse it and go back to decimal form. So notice, please underline hours and hours. The good thing is I'm already in the right units. And I'm going to take whatever this whole number is, since it's in the same units, I get to bring it right down and follow it with a decimal. I know that you have not been provided a calculator yet. Once we get going, you will have one in front of you. But you're just going to watch me go through this process. So I need to take this portion and write it only as minutes. Right now I have minutes and seconds. I have to find a way to combine those correctly. So there's 33 minutes, and then there's additional time. It's not quite half a minute. So it's 25, and you're wondering, what is the denominator? Ask yourself, how many seconds are in a minute? There is 60. So on my calculator, I'm going to do 33 plus 25 divided by 60, and that represents the number of minutes. So before I put it right here, I go, how many minutes are in an hour? This makes sense. There's 33 minutes and just a few more seconds. 33 minutes and a few more seconds. How many minutes are in an hour? There's 60. I'm taking this number and divide it by 60, and that will provide me with an accurate decimal that represents this. Okay, we're going to reverse it. Now we start with a decimal measurement, and we're going to move forward to a standard measurement. So we're both in terms of hours. I get to bring it straight down. We have 3 hours. And now I have a partial. I don't have it in a complete hour to come up to 4 hours. So I'm going to type in what is remaining and ask myself, how many minutes are there in 1 hour? There are 60. Take it times 60. We have 22 minutes, and that makes sense. That makes sense if I think about it. About a third of an hour is 22 minutes. But there's a remainder, so I take the remainder, and I ask myself, how many seconds are there in a minute? There are 60. 4.8 seconds. These two are equivalent measurements in different forms. We are currently going to go from decimal form into our standard form. So I'm just going to draw a picture. You don't have to, but for people that are visual learners, this may help. This represents how far I hiked. So I did 1 full mile, 2 miles, and now I have partial of a third. I don't go all the way to 3. This is only 65% of this third segment. Each one of these is 1 mile, and I know 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Now, how far is this? Well, I'm going to take 5,280 times this remainder, which is 0.65. And I get 3,432. Adding these up, 5,280 times 2, because there's 2 groups, plus an additional 3,432. And I have 13,992. There is no decimal. That means there is no remaining inches. Most students found great difficulty with this. And the number one reason why is, notice that we have days, but then we have hours. So I need to take these days and initially convert them into hours. Each one of these days represents 24 hours. So there's 4 groups of 24. And then I'm going to cross it out. I'm going to cross it out afterwards up above. And what I meant to do, my apologies, I meant to write this only in terms of hours. My apologies. We are going from standard directly into decimal measurement. But we do have so far 24 times 4, 24 times 4, okay? So when I go directly to hours, I know for a fact right now I have 24 times 4 is going to be 96. So I have 96 hours simply from this form. Simply from this form, I have 96 hours. But then there's 3 more hours. So I am up to 99 hours. 99 hours. Once again, I'm taking 4 times 24, and I'm adding this additional 3 hours. That's how I get 99. Now I need to process this part and go, well, how do I write this in terms of a partial hour, which is minutes? So I have 10 minutes, but then there's this additional part, and this was confusing for students. This part is only going to be represented as minutes. So 10 full minutes, and then there's 50 seconds. Well, how many seconds in a minute? 60. So I'm going to plug this into my calculator. And then this portion represents how many minutes? Well, that makes sense. There's just a little over 10 minutes because there's additional seconds. How do I put that here? Ask yourself, how many minutes are in an hour? There's 60. Divide by 60, and this is the decimal, 18.05 repeating.